He was the richest man in modern history, but almost no one knows the full story. He was called a saint by some and the devil by others. He rose from poverty to control 90% of America's oil, then reshaped medicine, education, and wealth forever. Some say he saved the world. Others claim he secretly designed it. This is the untold story of how John D. Rockefeller built an empire, and why parts of that empire still control your life today. Let's go back to the early 1800s. A cold farmhouse in upstate New York, snow falling outside. Inside, a little boy named John D. Rockefeller is watching his father, a con man who called himself a doctor, selling fake cures and disappearing for weeks. His father taught him how to charm people. His mother taught him how to survive. They had very little. But John had discipline, a steel trap memory, and an obsession with money. Not just earning it, but understanding it. Even as a child, he tracked every penny in a little notebook. He raised turkeys, sold candy, and saved like a man preparing for war. He tithed 10% of every dollar he earned, long before he had wealth to give. At just 16, John became a bookkeeper, working long hours for 50 cents a day. But while others clocked in and out, he was studying patterns, watching how businesses succeeded and why they failed. By age 20, he started his own business. And by 24, he saw something the rest of America missed. Oil wasn't a gamble. It was the future. In the middle of the Civil War, he opened a small refinery in Cleveland. But Rockefeller wasn't in it for small wins. He wasn't drilling oil. He was refining it, controlling the process, cutting waste, and building a supply chain nobody else could match. He built Standard Oil, not as a company, but as a machine. He negotiated secret deals with railroads, bought out rivals before they even knew what hit them, cut prices so low no one could compete. And when the smoke cleared, he controlled over 90% of all U.S. oil refining. That level of dominance had never been seen before in American business. He didn't just own oil, he owned the industry. Rockefeller became the richest man in modern history, but he wasn't loud or flashy. He kept quiet, avoided the spotlight, and rarely gave interviews. His motto? Success comes from keeping the ears open and the mouth closed. By the late 1800s, Rockefeller was both feared and admired. To the public, he was the cold face of capitalism, a man who crushed competition, manipulated markets, and built a monopoly so big the US government had no choice but to take it down. In 1911, the Supreme Court broke up Standard Oil into 34 companies. But instead of ruining him, the breakup made him even wealthier because he owned massive shares in all the new companies that formed, like Exxon, Mobil, Chevron, and more. But here's where it gets eerie. Some believe Rockefeller wasn't just building a business, he was engineering control. Critics say he funded medical schools not just out of charity, but to reshape healthcare around pharmaceutical profit. Others claim he used media and foundations to steer education, suppress natural remedies, and monopolize medicine itself. Some even believe that today's modern healthcare system, focused on synthetic drugs and commercial treatments, traces back to his influence and funding. Was he helping society, or quietly shaping it? Nobody knows for sure. But what is clear is that Rockefeller didn't just build wealth, he built systems. He lived to 97. Walking through gardens, handing out dimes to children, and smiling quietly while the world debated his legacy. Was he a ruthless capitalist, or the greatest benefactor the modern world has ever seen? Maybe he was both. He wasn't lucky, he wasn't loud. He wasn't born rich, but he was. Patient when others rushed. Cold when others panicked. Disciplined when others chased pleasure. And above all, relentlessly strategic. He played the long game, and he won it. If this inspired you, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and share this with someone chasing their dream. Drop your story in the comments if you're building your own empire. I'll be reading everyone. We will end this video with a famous quote from Rockefeller: "Don't be afraid to give up the good to go for the great." That's the mindset that built his empire, and the one that still echoes in the boardrooms, hospitals, and universities touched by his hand. Because in the end, John D. Rockefeller didn't just get rich. He changed the system and left behind a legacy that still shapes the world today.